What's up, Bills Mafia? Today we're doing something a little bit different. You're probably wondering why I'm dressed a little bit on the nicer side, but it's because I'm going to pretend that I'm actually in the draft room. This is my very first early Buffalo Bills mock draft, and before free agency, before the combine, before all the chaos starts, I wanted to take an early swing at how this roster could be built through the draft. I ran this mock using PFSN mock draft simulator, pulling from PFF player pools, so these are real prospect ranges and realistic draft boards. I haven't done any trades yet, just the picks we currently have and the best value based on team needs and scheme fits. I am your host, Devin Long, and this is the 19th episode of the Down South Bills podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And with that being said, let's get into it. So this is mock draft 1.0. I'll probably do 3 total of these, one now, pre-free agency and pre the combine, one after the combine and early offseason moves, and then one right before the draft. Right now, I'm drafting strictly based on current roster needs, scheme fits in the new defense, and best value at each pick. So with that being said, let's get into the draft. And with the 26th pick in the 2026 draft, the Buffalo Bills select KC Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, 21 years old, and from, yes, Rochester, New York, which is a cool storyline already. He transferred from NC State to Texas A&M in 2025. He had 61 catches, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns, and at NC State, as a freshman, he had 71 catches and was ACC Rookie of the Year. His strengths are elite separation, down the field threat, refined route running, explosive playmaker in space, and dynamic return ability. He averaged 18.2 punt return yards in 2025 and had 2 touchdowns. And his weaknesses, he has a smaller frame, 19 career drops, and inconsistent in the run blocking. But I watched this guy on film, and he knows how to get open. And honestly, that's what the Buffalo Bills need on offense. I do think we make a big splash in free agency or in the trade department at wide receiver as well. But I think bringing a guy like KC Concepcion would be really good for this offense. I mean, he's been compared to guys like Lad McConkey, guys like Zay Flowers, but as I mentioned, just watching him on tape, this guy's fast. He's able to get open down the field, and I just think this would be a great pickup for the Bills offense. Just someone who knows how to get open. We have Khalil Shakir playing in that slot. I think KC Concepcion could be a good little Z player, and then maybe even gadget, and also handle our punt return abilities. I love what Khalil Shakir does as far as fair catching, but he doesn't do much outside of that. And so I think upgrading at the punt return would be great to get a guy like Casey Concepcion who can also get open and separate as a wide receiver. And then moving into the second round, pick 60, the Buffalo Bills select Derek Moore, edge out of Michigan. 6'3", 260 pounds, ideal 3-4 edge build. In 2025, Derek Moore had 10 sacks and 10.5 tackles for loss. Strengths are he has an NFL ready frame. I mean, this guy 6'3", 260 edge rusher. And I mean, he has a violent bull rush, high motor, versatility that really fits Jim Leonhard's defense. I mean, I think he can be that 3-4 edge, and I think he may even be able to drop back a little bit, maybe move inside to that 4-eye. But I think he can definitely be a nice little versatile piece for Jim Leonhard to play around within that defense. Weaknesses: lack of elite bend. He just doesn't have that so far, and run defense inconsistency. But I don't think we'll ask him to do that early on. I think in this defense we need some pass rush juice, and I think in the second round Derek Moore definitely can bring that. He feels like a rotational edge early, but I definitely think he has starter upside, especially with the size and the build that he possesses. In the third round, with the 91st pick, the Bills select Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech. He's 6'1", 235 pounds, and in 2025, he had 128 tackles and tied the NCAA record with 7 forced fumbles. He's the Bednarik Award winner in 2025 and also had 127 tackles in 2024 and 4 career interceptions. He's a downhill, aggressive linebacker who constantly finds the football, and he's not the most athletic, but he produces turnovers, and I think that matters. I think a lot of people will disagree with me as at Jacob Rodriguez. I watched a lot of his film. He plays a little bit bigger than his size, in my opinion. People will say he's compared to Terrell Bernard a little bit as far as like being undersized and sometimes being blocked by linemen. But I think in this defense, he would be a good skill set. I don't think we'd be asking him to be a starter, but I think as a third linebacker, fourth linebacker, and a good rotational piece, and someone who can grow in this defense, being able to create turnovers, which is what we want in this Jim Leonhard defense. We want aggression. We want guys who get to the football, produce turnovers, and I think this is a guy that definitely embodies all of those things. So I think pick 91, Jacob Rodriguez, would be a great pick here. And so, just kind of stopping here for a second, after the first three picks, I want to say that, in this draft, I did this draft a couple times. I didn't just, spam the draft, but I did do it a couple times. And going back to the first overall pick, Casey Concepcion, he fell to me several times. So I think that is a player that the Bills could definitely get. And I also think like in this draft, there was some people who just didn't fall to me, and I think I should make that known. Like Carnell Tate, he never fell to me. Ruben Bain never fell to me. I think Mesidor did fall to me a couple times. The guy out of Miami as well, but I just didn't really like his medicals this early, so that's why I didn't take him. So just kind of a little bit of context there. Casey Concepcion did fall to me several times. There was one time where I think the Chargers took him or something like that with the 22nd pick. And as far as trading up for KC Concepcion, I don't think he's necessarily a player we need to trade up for if it's like drastic. But I do think if it's like maybe like a fifth round pick or like a late round pick swap to move up for KC Concepcion, I think that would definitely be something the Bills should do. But in this draft, as I mentioned, I didn't trade up. And yeah, these were just players that at the positions that I drafted, these were just the best value. Like for example, I would have drafted an edge first round if there was a better edge than I think Casey Concepcion is a wide receiver, and vice versa in the second round and in the third round and so forth. So just a little intermission there, just kind of explaining my picks. I know I kind of explained it in the open, but just wanted to kind of do that halfway, just to kind of let you guys know. But with that being said, we'll continue to go through the draft and get to the fourth round. In the fourth round, with the 126th pick, I picked Tim Keenan, the third defensive tackle out of Alabama, 6'2", 326 pounds, and a true nose tackle type. His best season was 2024, where he had 7.5 tackles for loss. He missed early 2025 games after an ankle surgery, but returned and was solid. He's a space eater who absorbs double teams, holds the middle, and I think he's exactly what this defense needs in early downs, even if the pass rush upside is limited. I think he's a guy who, when watching his film, I mean, he really just rarely gets pushed out of his spot. And more times than not, he's pushing you out of your spot. So I think this guy who's a big space eater, nose tackle type guy could be a real good fit in early downs for this Jim Leonhard defense in that base 3-4, because I know you guys are tired of getting ran on. I'm tired of getting ran on. And I think that we do get a nose tackle in free agency on a pretty good bargain deal. But I also think drafting a guy like Tim Keenan in the second round, I mean, not in the second round, in the fourth round, and just kind of having that depth there, I think that'll be a very good thing for this defense. So moving on to the 166th pick, Max Lewin, edge out of Iowa, 6'5", 258 pounds, 6.5 sacks in 2025 and 9.5 tackles for loss. I mean, this guy really has a high motor as a pass rusher with the legit spin move. Like when I turned on this tape, the first thing that popped out was that spin move, and I watched him hit that spin move, and then he had a little a swim move off the edge, and then the very next highlight, I saw him fake the swim move and then go back to the spin move. So this guy he has the juice as a pass rusher, and so I think as a late round swing, I think Max Lewin will be a great fit for this defense as well. Moving further into the draft, pick 221, I have Squirrel White, wide receiver out of Florida State. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, but his speed immediately pops off the film. If you look up his film, look up his highlights, most of those are from Tennessee. He has upside as a return specialist, vertical threat, gadget weapon. And I think this is just like Like a guy like that, obviously 5'10", 170 pounds, his weaknesses and concerns are like durability, press coverage. But in the sixth round, we're gambling on traits. And I think speed is something you can't teach. And this guy, he's fast. I mean, he's fast. You look him up, you can see that Squirrel White is fast. And I don't know if Squirrel was like, I know it's a nickname. I don't know where it stemmed from. I didn't look that far, but he definitely is out there, getting it. He's moving. So I think that would be a great guy to kind of have as a return specialist. Just kind of, I love the return game. I think that would give Josh Allen some great field position. I know Ray Davis did it a little bit this past season, and I know McCole Hartman maybe had one in there. So I think just having that upside at return specialist, just especially in today's NFL, I think is key. So I think taking two guys like Casey Concepcion, Squirrel White, guys who can have upside in that return game, I think that would be something great for this Bills team who hasn't had that as much as some of us would like. And then last pick that I'm taking in the draft, pick 229, VJ Payne, safety out of Kansas State. 6'3", 208 pounds, versatile defensive back with strong instincts and man coverage flashes. I think VJ Payne, looking at him, he's not the strongest safety. His run defense needs a little bit of improvement, but I think for a solid late round flyer, I think this guy is someone definitely we could maybe have in the future playing next to Cole Bishop. The past regime didn't play rookies as much. I know they did a little bit late, kind of having Jordan Hancock in there and also having Maxwell Harrison in there. But I do know, but I don't really know how this new regime is gonna play that. But I don't think a seventh rounder is gonna start immediately by any means. But I mean, it could. Christian Benford was what fifth round and came in and started and played well. So you never know. But VJ Payne, I think he's a guy who can play over top. I think Cole Bishop's skill set really would be nice if he could guard tight ends and man coverage and kind of be closer to the line. And VJ Payne is a guy who's good in man coverage as well. That's one of his strengths as well. But I think he can play over top. He's kind of rangy. I seen him catch this one hand interception. So he's a guy who would be a great late round swing as well. So those are the picks. We'll recap them one more time with the 26th pick. I took Casey Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. With the 60th pick, I took Derek Moore, edge out of Michigan. With the 91st pick, I took Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. Pick 126, I took Tim Keenan, the third, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Max Lewin, edge out of Iowa. Squirrel White, wide receiver out of Florida State at pick 221. And then at pick 229, I took VJ Payne, safety out of Kansas. And so that's mock draft 1.0. This is before free agency, before the combine, before the roster reshape, everything, the free agents, all of that. So this is just the first blueprint based on the needs that I know we have now. I know some of you guys are going to say, hey, you didn't take an offensive guard, you didn't take a center. I think guard and center are going to be I think those are going to be free agent things. I think we're either going to re-sign Connor McGovern or elevate Cedric Van Pran Granger, and then I think we're going to go out and find a guard or elevate somebody to play that guard spot, or then maybe have some competition from within. But I don't think those are things that are necessarily addressed late in the draft. I just think we have more needs, and I think we've hit on other positions outside of those positions in the draft late, like safety, cornerback, you know what I'm saying? So I think those are the more likely positions that we take. So, yeah, again, if you agree or disagree with the picks, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts, your concerns, all that. So when I do mock draft 2.0, maybe 3.0, maybe I can incorporate some of your thoughts when I'm looking through the draft and seeing the prospects that are still on the board after these other teams pick. But please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. And I am your host, Devin Long. And as always, go Bills.